The story is well known to many Beatles fans. Needing to come up with material for their forthcoming album, John Lennon sat at his piano and his eye landed on a Victorian circus poster hung next to it. He had purchased the poster at Andrew Mayer's antique shop in Sevenoaks just a few weeks prior, on or about January 31st, 1967. With the poster in his sight, John was suddenly inspired and began writing Being for the Benefit of Mr. Kite. John claims that he had hardly made up a word, writing the song by just stitching phrases together. While he definitely took more creative liberty than he gives himself credit for, there is no question that the antiquated poster and its unique turns of phrase serve as the backbone of the song's lyrics. Is it any surprise that fans were captivated by this story and eager to see this mysterious poster? Well, in 1971, they got their chance. Photographer Tom Hanley took a couple of photos of John posing next to the poster for the October 2nd issue of the Record Mirror. It would be the only look the public had of the poster for almost 50 years. Then, in 2018, the Liverpool Museum did a John and Yoko exhibit. As part of the collection, on loan from Yoko Ono, was the poster. It was the first time since John bought it that it had ever been on public display. It was in a dark corner behind protective glass and quite hard to get decent photos of, but it was a better opportunity than we had ever had. And luckily, I had an in. When the poster went on display, an acquaintance of mine got in touch and informed me that he had contacts at the museum. Those contacts provided him with close-up photos that were impossible for the public to get, as well as the overall dimensions of the full piece, frame included. All of this was then passed on to me. From there, I had everything needed to make the perfect replica. I would now like to present to you my completely accurate recreation of the Mr. Kite poster. A limited edition letterpress print on 100% cotton letra paper. Using the reference photos and measurements I had acquired, I made a composite image, taking the most clear parts of each image and stitching them together to give me the most complete, highest resolution shots of every inch of the poster. Rather than recreate the art with 19th century methods, I used my 21st century tools to do the job with the highest level of accuracy possible. Working in Illustrator, I was able to enlarge the image to capture every minute detail. I redrew the Acrobat figures from scratch, as well as redrawing many of the fonts and making adjustments to others. There is not a single letter on the entire poster that has not been modified to be more accurate to the original. This is also the first replica ever to capture the fine detail of the Greek border, which contains a second thin stroke never even guessed at before. And an incredibly close look reveals minuscule breaks between all the individual segments of the border, which was originally made up of individual squares arranged into a border of whatever size was needed. In the case of the Mr. Kite poster, Mrs. Jones and Crosskill inadvertently placed two of these squares in a different orientation from the rest, a printing error that has been accurately replicated here. Additionally, the Acrobat engravings have been hiding a secret all these years, a secret uncovered, in fact, by me. At the bottom of each engraving is a tiny signature, which the fine folks of the Liverpool Museum have identified as belonging to a Liverpool wood engraver named Thomas Fife. These are just a few of the details you'll find exclusively on this special print. So, once the art was done, it was time to turn back to the techniques of the past. I located a printer who could make a letterpress plate from my vector files. They worked with me to ensure that I got the exact look I wanted, a pristine print, but on ecru-colored paper with a subdued black ink to give a visual nod to the age of the original. Once all that was worked out, the posters were printed on an old-fashioned German letterpress machine. The end result is a stunningly beautiful, extremely detailed print of the highest quality that accurately captures every detail of John Lennon's famous poster. Having been some days in preparation, a splendid print is guaranteed for all.